They're jam-packed inside the Metrodome in Minneapolis for Game 2 of the American League Championship Series. In Game 1, Minnesota edging Anaheim, a 2-1 final, and they're ready for Game 2 at the Dome tonight. And a pleasant good evening to you. Alongside Steve Lyons, I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome, as always, to Playoff Baseball on Fox. Joe Mays and Eddie Guardado last night, Steve, able to do something the New York Yankees certainly couldn't do. Slow down this high-octane Anaheim offense.
Well, the Anaheim offense came into this series as the hottest team in the playoffs, and I'm talking about they were smoking the ball. But they ran into a brilliant pitching performance by Joe Mays last night, and those three guys right there, the middle of the Anaheim lineup, Salmon, Anderson, and Gloss, sucked up the big 0 for 11. The Angels know that those guys have to be more productive in their lineup if they're going to get out of this series.
Now tonight, Anaheim will give the ball to the young right-hander Ramon Ortiz. He won 15 games during the regular season. So too did Minnesota starter, right-hander Rick Reed.
Well, Ortiz is going to have to settle down a little bit in this start, but Rick Reed is the kind of guy you love to watch pitch. He'll move the ball on both sides of the plate. He has a great changeup. He has pinpoint control, but if he doesn't have that control, he's not the kind of guy that can throw the ball by you. So those 3, 4, 5 hitters that we talked about earlier for the Angels, they will be hammering the ball.
Anaheim scored 31 runs in 4 games. The Yankees, they managed 1 run on 4 hits last night. Game 2 coming up from Minneapolis. You're watching Playoff Baseball on Fox. The League Championship Series on Fox is brought to you by GMC. We are professional grade, by Radio Shack, official sponsor of Major League Baseball, and by MasterCard. There's some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. Just about set to go. Game 2 of this American League Championship Series. Minnesota won the opener over Mike Scioscia's Angels. Let's take a look at his starting lineup for Game 2, exactly as it was in Game 1. David Eckstein, the shortstop. Darren Erstad in center field. Tim Salmon in right. Garrett Anderson in left field. The third baseman, Troy Gloss. And the DH, Brad Fulmer. Scott Spezio down at first. Benji Molina catching. Adam Kennedy's a second baseman. Ramon Ortiz on the mound. And starting at 4, Minnesota. Good numbers during the regular year for Rick Reed.
Well, this guy is a guy that just keeps getting it done. Explored his trade options in spring training. He had the opportunity to demand a trade. That never worked out, and he still ended up with the Twins. Here's the scouting report. This guy is always going to be around the plate. Throws lots of strikes. He likes to run the ball in on lefties and let it tail back out over the inside corner of the plate. And he's got tons of fortitude. What does that mean? That's a word way bigger than I can understand. I think that means he's got a lot of guts.
Take a look at the Minnesota defense behind him. Christian Guzman coming to the air at shortstop last night, allowing Anaheim's only run against Mays. Then Kavich sensational over at first. Jones, Hunter, and Kadire in the outfield. Koski on the other corner. And a battery of Reed and A.J. Pierzynski. David Eckstein to begin things. Hit .293 during the regular season. And he looks at strike 1, and we are underway. Eckstein 1 of 4 in the game here last night. Had a 1-out single in the 3rd inning. Was stranded at third base. Eckstein, like most leadoff men, really sets the tone for his team. When this guy gets on base and when he scores runs, that generally adds up to an Angel win. They're 59-17 when he scores 1 run this year. And look at the difference in the Anaheim Angels since claiming Eckstein off waivers from the Boston Red Sox. Right back to Reed. Rick Reed, 37 years old, out of Huntington, West Virginia, retires Eckstein to start the game.
I mean, not too often do you see a replay of a guy bouncing one back to the pitcher, but watch Eckstein. He knows he's going to be out by 50 feet, and he busts his tail all the way down the line. You talk about setting a tone for a ball club. That's what that guy does day in and day out. And that's a ball player.
Now Darren Erstad a native of Fargo, North Dakota. First pitch swinging, dumps it foul and out of play. Rick Reed this year led Minnesota in wins with 15, led them in starts, led them in innings pitched, and in shutouts. And he has the best control of any pitcher in the major league, bar none. Major League Baseball's active leader in fewest walks per 9 innings, less than 2 a game. Throwing strikes here tonight. We understand the former #1 pick overall back in '95 out of the University of Nebraska, where he was not only a baseball standout, but the punter for the Nebraska powerhouse football team.
Now, when you talk to people about him being the punter on the team, they say that's the biggest joke of all, because he had a linebacker mentality as the punter.
Puts a charge into this one, right center field. Racing back, Kadire, gone. 1-0 Anaheim. Erstad hitting his first postseason home run.
Tommy, Erstad was working very extensively with Mickey Hatcher before the game about loading up his swing. He was having trouble getting out in front of everything. He was having a little bit of trouble keeping those hands back like that and then loading up the swing and then letting it go. He was pulling everything forward with him. That was a picture-perfect swing right there. He may have figured it out. See that little loading up action with the hands.
We figure to see some long ones in this game tonight. Both these pitchers have had terrific years, but they will give up the home run ball. Ortiz allowed 40 during the season. Reed gave up 32. Fouled into the middle of Pierzynski.
That is a fastball right down the middle of the plate, and we talked about the fact that Rick Reed cannot get away with that in this lineup. Has to hit his spots, has to use both sides of the plate and get guys to swing at pitches that are not strikes.
Tim Salmon takes high and away. 2 balls and a strike. The only runs Reed has given up in the postseason have all come on home runs. He was a loser to Oakland during the division series. Allowed 4 runs and all came via the long ball.
Well, the one thing that he keeps himself out of trouble with is usually when he gives up a home run, it's a solo shot.
We give a back-to-back home runs to begin the ball game, you may remember, here at the Dome. So Ray Durham and Scott Hatteberg got one outside. The Ray Durham home run and inside the park home run on a ball that got under the glove of Torrey Hunter and rolled to the wall. Salmon 0 for 3 in the series opener. He did draw a walk. Fly ball at Torrey Hunter. 2 away.
We're going to talk about this all night, Tom, and I think it bears repeating again. It's going to be so important for Rick Reed to hit his spots. That pitch to Salmon right there. Salmon jammed himself. Look at where they're set up. That ball not far enough in off the plate, and that ball is going to get hit hard all night if it stays there.
Now Garrett Anderson, he looks at a strike on the outside corner. Steve talked about a moment ago the heart of this Anaheim order. Hitless in game 1 here last night. Anderson 0 for 4. Loss 0 for 4. Salmon 0 for 3. Bouncer at Luis Rivas. And the inning is over. But not before Anaheim gets its first lead of this American League Championship Series. A solo blast by Darren Erstad. Ron Gardenhire and the Minnesota Twins leading this series 1-0. They trail 1-0 after a half inning tonight. Jock Jones in left, Christian Guzman the shortstop, Corey Koski at third. David Ortiz at DH, Torrey Hunter in center, Doug Mankiewicz at first. Michael Kadire, the right fielder. A.J. Pierninski behind the plate. And Luis Ribas, the second baseman, against 15-game winner Ramon Ortiz. Ball one to Jock Jones.
Some outstanding numbers during the season for Ramon Ortiz. He uses his emotions to get himself going, but sometimes they also get the best of him. Quick scouting record, has to pitch a scouting report on him. He's got to pitch ahead in the count. If he gets behind, that fastball is a lot easier to hit. He's got great movement on that fastball when he can stay ahead. Not afraid to challenge anybody.
And there you see a 95-mile-per-hour fastball. He throws right by Jock Jones. Jones only 5 of 24 during the postseason. 2-2. And it bears repeating. You talk about challenging guys. Ortiz allowed 40 home runs this year. 32 of the 40 solo. In fact, back in May, when these same two teams, same two pitchers locked up, Jock Jones led off the ball game with a home run off Ortiz. Still 3-2. The 15 wins, the most by an Angels right-hander since Kirk McCaskill and Bert Blyleven back in 1989. And Ortiz ended the regular season on a roll. 4-0 in September. Hit hard into right. Salmon going to get it. Good play by Tim Salmon. One away. Now Christian Guzman, the shortstop, 1 for 3, was hit by a pitch in a series opener last night. 7 of 24 during the postseason. The division series when Minnesota beat Oakland 3-2, and game 1 here of the league championship series last night. Strike one.
One of the things about Ramon Ortiz when he does get in trouble is the fact that his windup is so deliberate and very easy to pick the ball up from.
Sounded like a broken bat roller down to Spezio, and he'll beat Guzman to the bag. 2 away. Right now it's a Budweiser game break time. Let's go to Jeannie Zelasco at our Fox Network Center.
And now Barry Bonds is the Cardinals' problem. They intentionally walked him. Next batter, Benito Santiago chops an infield hit. That would score Kenny Lofton, and the Giants on the board first. Top one, 1-0.
San Francisco going 5 games to come back from a 2-1 deficit to beat Atlanta. And of course the Cardinals sweeping the defending world champion Arizona Diamondbacks in 3. 2 away for Corey Koski. Ball 1. Koski, a good start to this series last night. 2 of 4, had a double, knocked in a run. 1-1. Ortiz really struggled. In fact, couldn't get out of the 3rd inning his first postseason start against the Yankees. That's when he put Anaheim in a 6-1 hole, and the Angels rallied to win Game 3. What a huge win that was. Looked like New York would go up 2-1 with that early lead. Mike Messina on the mound, and Messina got hurt. Had to leave the game early with a groin injury. And then those red-hot Angel hitters rallied to win it. There's ball 4 to Costa.
That's what Mike Scioscia is concerned about. He can be wild within the strike zone. And sometimes that's a good thing, especially playing against a very aggressive team like the Twins are. But you have to be able to get ahead and then spot your wildness. Sometimes when you're wild within the strike zone, that's a good thing because the hitters can never really sit on anything. They can never zero in on where you're headed. Sometimes you don't have your best stuff, and it ends up being your biggest advantage that day. But you have to be able to get it somewhere in the strike zone where the umpire can at least call strikes if guys aren't swinging at pitches.
The DH David Ortiz, 1 of 3 in the game here last night. Hit 20 home runs, knocked in 75 during the regular season. Fastball, strike 1. A lot of people have compared Ortiz, due to his stature and his live moving fastball, with Pedro Martinez. As it turns out, Pedro Martinez is Ramon Ortiz's idol.
Probably say that about a lot of guys, huh?
Ortiz, a native of the Dominican Republic. They found out over the wintertime that he was 3 years older than previously reported. They thought he was 26. He's really 29. Bouncing ball to the right side. Easy over there for Kennedy, and the inning is over. A much better start tonight for Ramon Ortiz than his first postseason start against the Yankees. End of 1-0 Angels. 43-year-old Upper Darby, Pennsylvania native Mike Scioscia, an outstanding playing career, a 2-time World Series champion with the Los Angeles Dodgers, and a 2-time All-Star. A lot of people remember Scioscia and his rugged play behind the plate, always blocking the plate, and perhaps more than any other thing, that's what he's known for. Although I think it's kind of shortchanging his career, because he had a real good career.
He was a real good catcher behind the plate, and nobody blocked the plate better than he did, and that's why that part of it continually gets reminded to him, and I think he gets a headache every time it happens, because he got brutalized back there.
Troy Gloss, a big swing and a miss, 0-2. Lost a tough start to this series here last night. 0 for 4, struck out twice, including the final pitch of the game. A pitch he thought was ball 4. One and 2.
Talked to him today, and he said he admitted that that pitch was a strike after he saw it again. He said he saw that it was a slider. He thought it was going to break down out of the strike zone, and then it just flattened out a little bit, stayed there, and was a nasty pitch.
Shot into right field. A base hit by Gloss to begin the Anaheim second inning. Let's go back to some of those collisions at the plate for Mike Scioscia.
He was just so willing to put his nose right back in there on the plate and let guys run him over, anything to block the plate, and this almost hurts you just watching.
Especially this next one, Jack Clark.
Oh. Of course, Jack Clark now the hitting instructor for the Dodgers. So it's a member of the Dodgers, both as a player and a manager and coach for a number of years before he took the Angel job.
Many remember Scioscia's 2-run game-tying home run off Doc Gooden in Game 4 of that 1988 National League Championship Series. That went into right center field. It'll fall, a base hit. Gloss on his way to third. They're going to hold him there, throw in his second, and it gets through the cutoff man, but Rivas able to knock it down after a double by Brad Fulmer, and here come the Angels in Game 2 and inning 2.
Now this is where we're starting to talk about the aggressive base running on both clubs. Look at this ball, just barely in right center field, not really in the gap, not necessarily a double, but Fulmer doesn't even think about stopping at first base. Busting out of the box, he's looking at it saying, I have a chance for 2 right now. That's hustle. Mike Scioscia says the best way to manufacture runs is not to bunt guys over, it's to be aggressive and always think about taking the extra base before you have to waste an out by bunting the guy over with the next guy.
Scott Spezio with runners at second and third and nobody out. The Angels during the regular season as a team hit .290 with runners in scoring position. And Spezio right at the top of the list on this club. He hit .336 in those situations.
I think that's the biggest difference in Scott Spezio's career this year. being such a clutch hitter, getting the opportunity with men on and coming through big time.
In the air down the right field line, a long run for Kadire. It will fall in, a base hit, and then bounces over his head. Law scores. They're going to hold Fulmer at third on a bloop double down the right field line by Spezio. It's 2-0 Anaheim.
This is a ball right here where I think a mistake is made by Fulmer on second base. Fulmer's on second base. Ross on third would tag here in case the ball's caught, but if the ball is caught by Kadire, Fulmer can't go anywhere, so you might as well be halfway. If that ball bounces in like it did, as soon as this ball hits the turf, it's going to bounce a mile high. You should score on this play from second base. No question.
A leadoff single by Gloss. He scored on a double by Spezio. They're at second and third. Still nobody out. 2-0 Angels. And Benji Molina pops it up again in the short right. This could be trouble. Kadire coming in to get it and staying put at third. Brad Fulmer.
Tommy, here's what we're talking about. You see Fulmer going back to tag. Why tag? If Kadire catches the ball, you have no chance to go on the third base anyway. Be halfway in case it drops, and that way you score on the play.
Well, he's still standing there after the pop-up into short right field by Molina. And that'll bring Adam Kennedy to the plate with one away. Anaheim already with as many hits through the first inning and a third tonight as they had over 9 innings last night. Ball one away to Adam Kennedy. Kennedy, a solid season. Led the Angels in batting average at .312, 7 homers, 52 runs batted in, and has had an outstanding postseason. 5 hits and 11 at-bats.
We're beginning to see the elements of the Metrodome that the Twins usually make work for them when they play their home games. We talked about the bouncy turf and the fact that it's a fast turf. Fulmer taking second on a ball that seemingly was just a base hit into right center field. And then that ball in right field that Spezio hit, Kadire had to back off of. If it's grass, he might be more aggressive and dive for that baseball. But he was worried about the ball bouncing over his head, and it did anyway.
Kennedy thought about it. Reed trying to get him to chase the pitch up. He takes 2 balls and a strike. Kennedy, the former St. Louis Cardinal minor league player of the year, came over in the Jim Edmonds trade 2 years ago. And you see in that 9 hole, the Angels got lots of production, and most of the time it was Kennedy in that slot. Number back to the mound, and they have the runner caught. Pierzynski will tag out Fulmer for the second out of the inning. So Fulmer doesn't score on the bloop double to right by Spezio. Now he's cut down. Let's see if it comes back to hurt him later in the game.
Nice play getting off the mound there by Reed. Pierzynski does the right thing here because third base is now occupied. So he's just going to run Fulmer all the way back. Pierzynski has the reputation of being kind of a hard-nosed, possibly dirty kind of guy. Watch him put the tag in the middle of his back and then push him down the line a little bit. Fulmer might be the wrong guy to be messing with, because we already stated the fact that he's got arms bigger than your legs.
And we said it last night. That doesn't necessarily say much. Kennedy unhappy. Unable to get the runner in from third. Now they're on the corners for David Eckstein. He bounced to the mound, leading off the game. Breaking ball, a good one from Reed. Reed can get out of this inning, allowing just 1 run. He'll feel pretty good about things.
No question. Kennedy's the kind of guy that when he makes an apparent mistake like that by not driving anybody in, but he ends up on first base anyway, tries to steal second.
0-2 on David Eckstein. Kennedy stole 17 bases during the regular season in 21 attempts. Still 0-2. And Eckstein can do this to you all day and all night.
Talk about classic leadoff hitters. Maybe Eckstein doesn't possess the great speed that a lot of guys do. He's still 21 bases this season. Was thrown out 13 times. A lot of those on the back end of a double steal or a hit and run. But he will pester you to death. And if you're a leadoff hitter and people are calling you a pest, that's a compliment.
Chop down to third baseline this time. Everybody likes to think of Eckstein as this overachiever, and he's done this and he's done that, and all of those things are true. But when you start digging inside the numbers of the kind of year this guy had, to think there was only one other American League leadoff hitter with more RBIs than David Eckstein. He drove in 63 runs.
On-base percentage of over 360, and a lot of those RBIs had a lot to do with Adam Kennedy.
And now they have Kennedy caught. Mankiewicz will now come to the plate. The throw there, and the runner is safe as the ball gets away. And on to third goes Kennedy. It looked like Mankiewicz, the Gold Glove winning first baseman, waited too long to come to the plate. And it's 3-0 Anaheim.
I think Mankiewicz had a little bit of trouble setting his feet. He sees what's happening. Now he wants to make sure he just makes a good throw. It gets there in time, but Spezio's back leg is what knocks the ball out of Przinski's glove. He had him picked off on the great third to first move that never works. Watch the back leg of Spezio. That's the one that knocks the ball out of Przinski's glove. He's got it blocked off. Spezio decides not to slide. Wow.
And they give the air on Pierzynski. Eckstein again stays alive by fouling it off.
Take a look at it one more time. Got the plate blocked off. He comes in with the tag, and then that back leg, the force of the knee hitting the glove. I'll tell you what, you're supposed to hang on to the ball, but it would be awfully difficult to do it in that situation right there. It almost looked like he ripped his hand off.
And the point being, you saw that replay, Steve, it looked like Spezio beat the throw anyway. I mean, his foot appeared to come down on the plate. And there's a little bleeder in the right field that'll bring in another run. So Eckstein fought off 4 pitches after falling behind 0-2 and dumps one in for a run-scoring single. 4-0 Angels.
That is his game, too. Check it out one more, Tommy. This is what you're talking about, Tom. That's pretty darn close. Almost looked like that front foot hit the plate before he was tagged on his back knee.
I guess the point is, though, Steve, I was getting at is that the ball should never be arriving that late in a run-down play anyway. You know the guy's coming home.
Yeah, Mankiewicz ran him too far towards second base before he collected himself and came home with it.
So it looked like Reed had a chance to get out of this inning. After 3 straight hits, a run was already home. Runners at second and third, got a couple of outs. And then they had yet another out when Kennedy fell down, breaking for second base. And since then, 2 runs scored.
You mentioned that Adam Kennedy was the player of the year in the St. Louis organization in the minor leagues. Some guys, and I'm not saying that he did it on purpose, but some guys are smart enough to when they get into a situation like that where they're dead, picked off, you'll notice Kennedy acted like he slipped and fell down. sometimes that takes the defensive player out of his game. He sees the guy fall down. He says, oh, I'm starts chasing him and forgets what else is going around. Forgets that there's a guy on third base and that someone else might be trying to score. Kennedy may have possummed him into it.
Line into left field. Jones will get to it, but not before. Anaheim pushes across 3 in the inning, and after an inning and a half has a 4-run lead. The League Championship Series on Fox is brought to you by Sprint, introducing PCS Vision, clearly a whole new way to look at wireless. By Old Navy's Painter Pants, the handyman's classic. And by the Transporter, Friday only in theaters.
Tommy, here's the rundown play we're talking about. There is Kennedy right there. Watch. He will not slip on purpose, but Minkiewicz thinks I got a great chance of running him down now. Chases him too far towards second base and then can't get the ball back to home plate in time.
A big start for Anaheim, leading 4-0. Minnesota batting in the bottom of the second against Ramon Ortiz. And Torrey Hunter ahead in the count, 2 balls, no strikes. Hunter 1 of 3 last night, a double. Laid down a sacrifice, scored a run. Ortiz had a long wait sitting over in that Anaheim dugout in the 3-run top half of this inning.
And the only reason you want to have a long wait in the dugout is if your team's scoring a few runs for you. Makes it a little easier to sit there.
3-0 fastball. Hunter takes right down the gutter straight. 3-1 to Torrey Hunter. Ortiz not the kind of guy to fool around much out there on the mound. Now, granted, his pace will slow things down should someone get on. But when he's in a good rhythm, and you can tell he feels a lot better early in the game tonight than to start against the Yankees in the division series. In the air, right center field. Salmon coming over near the wall. He's got it.
Tim Salmon has been outstanding in right field. He's already in these first 2 ball games has had a couple tough chances out there and one of the toughest outfields to play, and he's been flawless.
Doug Minkiewicz 0 for 3, drew a walk here last night. A pair of home runs so far in the postseason after hitting only 10 during the regular year.
Doug told me that he likes to use his first at bat to try to see every pitch that the pitcher has. He said it's not even important to get a hit his first at bat. He said, yeah, if there's guys on, then I want to try to get a hit. But it's a lot less important for me to hit a meaningless single early in the game and not have seen the pitches, because when I come up in the 7th and I got 2 guys on and I need a hit, I want to know everything that that guy can do to me, which is an excellent way to approach the game. And he hasn't taken the bat off his shoulder yet.
2-1 on Minkiewicz. A little low, 3 balls and a strike.
I want to quickly go back to that rundown play one more time just for the purposes of education. Normally you'd like to make 1 throw on a rundown and get a guy out. But in that situation with a guy on third, throw the ball to your shortstop who's covering the second base. He's your best athlete. He's got your best arm, and he's running the guy back to first base and has a much easier throw back to home as well. Minkiewicz had to stop, turn around, and throw the ball back. Get the ball in the hands of your best athlete, and that's the shortstop.
3-2. In the air and towards the seats. It's out of play. Minkiewicz reminds some of longtime National League first baseman Mark Grace. In fact, that's the way Minkiewicz patterns his game. Both Gold Glove winning defenders. Minkiewicz a little more power, Grace a better average. Grounded down to first. Bizio will gobble it up. 2 away. Right now, for a Budweiser game break, here's Jeannie Zelasco from our Fox Network Center.
On St. Louis, Kenny Lofton on the move after a stolen base. Rich Aurelius says wants to come on home. Fernando Vini at second base for a pickoff move. RBI single Aurelia. Lofton has scored both runs for San Francisco. 2-zip top two.
The Giants, of course, a wild card winner in the National League, in the hotly competitive National League's Western Division, much like Anaheim here. Very tough division. Qualified as the wild card, and both wild cards playing in a league championship series. 0-1 to Michael Kadire.
The Giants clearly playing their best baseball over the last month of the season.
On the outside edge, 0-2. Steve, would you agree? I think you hear a lot of people talk. Any of these four teams could win the World Series.
No question about it. Especially this year's been much more competitive.
In the hole at short, Eckstein. Not a real strong arm. And Kadire runs pretty well. That'll be an infield hit.
People talk about David Eckstein, and they'll talk about that nothing he does looks pretty. He always gets it done. And then someone will say, well, heck, he didn't make that play. Didn't make the great play. But watch where he fields this ball. You're not expecting anybody to make that play right there. He's on the backside of Troy Gloss. It's a long way to go and then try to turn around and throw somebody out. You make that play, your name's Ozzie Smith. Hall of Fame.
Congratulations to the Wizard of Oz being inducted this summer. 4-0 Anaheim lead, 1 on 2 out. Pierzynski the batter. Check swing and a miss, 0-1. AJ hit 300 during the regular year, 6 home runs, 49 batted in. Has had a good solid postseason as well. 7 of 18 with a home run and 5 driven in. Foul. Not by much. And Ortiz in front, 0-2.
You know, both second basemen on this fast turf really taking advantage of how fast the turf is. You see where Adam Kennedy is playing. Yeah, he's out there at the 20-yard line for the football game. We saw Rivas take a hit away from Garrett Anderson, diving into short right field to take it away from him.
In the dirt, swung on and missed, strike 3. First of the game for Ortiz. 1 hit, 1 left. End of 2. Anaheim in front here in game 2. 4-0.
Full of bacon, my father.
This year, Ron Gardenhire became the first Twins manager to take a team to the postseason in his first full year at the helm since TK, Tom Kelly, did so back in 1987. It's a man he replaced. Tom Kelly.
Now, what a job he did for this organization for the years that he was here. Suffered through some tough campaigns and continued to teach. Still does. Still a big part of this organization. There he is. Comes out and throws batting practice for this team occasionally.
Took over September 11th, 1986. And was here as a manager 15 years. That breaking ball low to Tim Salmon, who leads off the Anaheim third. There might be something to this changing manager thing for the Minnesota Twins organization. Because a manager at the helm in the first year has done real well. Fly ball in the air. Kadire a late break, but runs it down. Right now for a Budweiser game break. Again, here's Jeannie Zelasco.
Tony La Russa was daring Barry Bonds to swing the bat. He obliges with 2 out. Bonds sends 2 runs home and ends up with a triple. 9 Giants came to the plate in the second inning. 4 runs with 2 outs. It was 5-0 Giants, bottom 2.
Not hearing much about Barry Bonds' postseason troubles so far this year.
No, you're not. That's because he's the best player in the game.
Yeah, that's right. Want to know to Garrett Anderson. Finishing up that thought about a Twins manager taking over a ball club. Of the Twins' 6 postseason appearances, 4 of them had come in the first season under a new manager. 69, Billy Martin. 70, Bill Rigney. The first full year for Kelly, we mentioned 87, and now Gardenhire this year.
Yeah, that's all well and good for this organization, but don't say that to Gardenhire next year. Or instead of a Gardenhire, they might have a different hire.
Yeah, that's right. Garrett Anderson. Looks a fly ball in the center field. Should be out number 2, and it is. Gardenhire came up through the New York Mets organization. Spent time with the big league club 81 to 85. Traded to the Twins organization in 86.
Look at that.
Way back at Shea.
You got that right. Watch him playing some D, too. Little shortstop. Skinny little shortstop. Go get it, Ronnie. That's a beautiful action. Now, I want you to look at that picture right there. And now look at him here. He's doing steroids. There's no question. Look how much bigger he is. He's not a fat guy either. I mean, just, you know.
2 down. Nobody on. First pitch swinging. Troy Glaus down to strike.
And he's juiced enough to sit down at the end of that bench. That's what amazes me about some of the talk about guys doing steroids. You know, when I signed there he is as a shortstop playing in a Mets organization, just a skinny little guy. Now look at him, solid, strong.
Looks like a Minnesota man.
I'm telling you, man, when I signed my first contract, I was $180. I'm 220 now. Everyone gets bigger. Especially after you're not 22 years old anymore.
Gravity seems to pull at you a little harder as the years go by.
Yeah, so does the fillets. Some mashed potatoes.
0-2 on Glaus. Breaking ball, and he doesn't chase it. A ball and 2 strikes. Glaus started a 3-run second inning with a single into right field.
Yeah, you look at a kid like Troy Glaus, still a youngster. I mean, he's 35 years old. He's probably going to be 25 pounds heavier, which then he's going to be like too big to be a man.
He's only 26. See, now Eckstein's 27. He's still got some growing to do.
Yeah, he does. He's got a lot of growing to do. He's going to catch up with Glaus.
2-2 to Troy Glaus. 2 down, nobody on. And a ground ball to shortstop. Good, solid third inning for Rick Reed. That throw in the dirt by Guzman, and then Kavich pulls it out of there. We go to the bottom of the inning. Anaheim leading 4-0. 4-0 Anaheim as Minnesota bats in the bottom of the 3rd inning. But a change made in right field. Tim Salmon leaving the game in favor of Orlando Palmeiro. Ortiz throws that one back to the screen.
Let's take a look at Salmon's last at bat. And down the line, I don't know if he's limping or lumbering, but it looks a little bit like a limp. Might have twisted an ankle, pulled a groin. We'll get the report.
As soon as we know, you'll know at home.
Definitely looks like he's favoring one side there.
Going into center field, a base hit by Luis Rivas to open the Minnesota 3rd. You know, we talked so much last night, and rightfully so, about the great performance turned in by Joe Mays and in the 9th inning closing by Eddie Guardado. But let's not forget, Anaheim pitching limited Minnesota to just 2 runs on only 5 base hits. And all 5 hits came in the front 5 innings against Kevin Appier.
Appier threw some nasty pitches up there. Looked like he went through one short period where he struggled a little bit with his release point. For the most part, as you see Appier on the right, he dominated almost as well.
Jock Jones takes up an in-ball 1. Jones hit 27 home runs during the regular season. Rivas can really run. He missed a couple of months of the season this year after stealing 31 bases a season ago. ball and a strike on Jock Jones.
And don't think just because this Twins team is down 4-0 that they won't be run. Rivas, the best opportunity to steal bases on this team. It's early in the ball game. This team feels like sometimes, even when they make a mistake, if it wows the bench, it gets them going. Gardner talked about that fact in the A's series. There were a couple outs made that pumped up the rest of the dugout and got the team going.
Runner started and stopped on a pitch up to Molina. Rivas remains at first base, 2-1 on Jones.
They talk about the explosiveness of the fastball. Look at this one. Molina can't even get his glove on. Ortiz can throw a live fastball up there. It's not a lot of fun for a catcher when the guy has so much movement on his fastball that you, as the guy catching it's not even sure how much you're going to get.
2-1, runner not going, swung on and missed, even a count.
Good time to go now.
Rivas a big lead. We talked about it last night, a couple of feet on the artificial surface by the time he's through taking that lead.
Way out there.
2-2 to Jock Jones. The first of those sending Rivas to the bag. Ortiz did his best work this season with runners on base. He had the 6th lowest batting average against in these situations. At 2:15, and they pick him up.
It's always good if a pitcher has a couple different moves to first base. Ortiz the last time came set and then threw. This time he came set very quickly and then threw over to first base. Rivas didn't have a chance to get back. Nice tag applied by Scott Spezio at first.
2-2 swung on and popped up out of play by Jones. We'll do it again.
Watch the tag. Spezio slaps right down to the back part of the base as quickly as he can get it there. Show the ball to the umpire. Get him out of there. Ortiz knew it.
Swing and a miss. Strike 3 goes Jones. Second strikeout of the game for Ortiz.
One more time. You know, I don't know that I know of another player that's developed a reputation as a Gold Glove caliber player, switching positions as Spezio has done. He began his career, great angle right there of Spezio just nipping Rivas at first base. Began his career as a third baseman, then went to second base, and he's only played first base parts of 3 different seasons.
Long run for Garrett Anderson in foul territory. He can't catch up with it.
And they're talking about Spezio as one of the best in the game now playing first base, and it's universal. Everywhere you go, it talks about the job that he's done over there defensively. And this is a guy that's not a first baseman, or hadn't been.
Only committed 5 errors all year long in 153 games. Tapper, gloss do or die play, got caught in between hops. And that'll be an infield hit for Guzman.
Tommy, you know, a lot of people would say that was a ball hit off the end of the bat. He was trying to hit it like that. Look at that. He got way out in front, dragged the bat head through the zone, and just tried to tap it to the left side of the field. It was like a swinging bunt. You gotta have a lot of confidence in yourself to try something like that. It's amazing.
Inning continues for Corey Koski. Walked his first time up.
of guys in the big leagues that hit them like that all the time, but they're really trying to hit the ball hard.
You might have had one or two like that.
1 or 200.
One on, 2 out. Anaheim leading 4-0, and a fastball sails high. The number I was mentioning a moment ago, with runners on base, Ortiz among the best pitchers in the league.
Oh, it helps when you get on base and then he picks you off too. Kind of keeps the averages down. Oh, what I've been really impressed with him so far tonight is the confidence level that he's shown in this ball game as opposed to the game that he threw against the Yankees. He is getting the ball and wants to throw it as quickly as he can again. That really helps your defense.
Throw down to first by the catcher Molina as the count goes to 2-1 on Cosby. It is staggering to think as you see the pitch count for Ortiz. I mean, how good is this guy's stuff? 52 of the 97 runs he allowed this year came on home runs. If he can find a way to cut that home run total, say in half, or maybe by a third, I mean, you're talking about a guy capable perhaps of being in the top 3, 4, 5 in ERA.
He's got that kind of stuff. He's still a young kid, even though they added a bunch of years to his age. He gained 3 years of experience in the offseason.
Well, he was 4-0 in September. In fact, won his last 6 decisions over 9 starts. On the ground, what a play by Spezio. You were just talking about him. Wow. Many believe he has a chance to win a Gold Glove.
Picking and grinning down there.
The League Championship Series on Fox is brought to you by WebMD, the place America comes for healthcare answers, and by Staples. Get back time. Go to Staples. Ramon Ortiz putting a staple in the Minnesota bats early on. 4-0. Anaheim in front as we move to the 4th inning. You said it a moment ago, Steve, a very impressive start for Ramon Ortiz, who Bud Black sitting next to Ramon down in the dugout. His pitching coach felt that his young right-hander was a little too fired up for that start against the New York Yankees. Wanted to go out and prove to the world what kind of pitcher he was on that big stage in the playoffs.
That's why Buddy Black is staying very, very close to his right-hander. Even when he's in the dugout there, he stays on top of him about his concentration. Another one of the guys doesn't get any recognition in this organization for taking care of him is Bobby Ramos down in the bullpen. Bullpen coach who talks to him constantly and tries to keep his head in the game.
3-0 on Brad Fulmer, who doubled into right center field his last time up. Spezio, the great defensive play, ending the bottom half of the 3rd. Waits on deck. 3-1 now to Fulmer. Fulmer a little upset with himself, perhaps chasing ball 4.
Well, Fulmer said he was going to be very conscious of what he calls the inside hip sinker. Rick Reed, with 2 strikes, likes to run a ball in off the belt buckle of left-handers and then have it sink back over the inside part of the plate.
2 hopper down to Minkevich. 1 away right now for a Budweiser game break. Let's return to Jeannie Zalasko.
And Tom Kenny Lofton has scored 3 runs on the night. This is his easiest. Definitely his biggest effort, though. A solo home run, the 5th of his postseason career. The Giants up big, 6-1, bottom 3, Tom.
A rough start for Matt Morris, who pitched so well at Bank One Ballpark in Phoenix, game 1 of that National League Division Series, beating Randy Johnson. That one lined into center field, a base hit by Spezio. He's doing it all here tonight. 2 at-bats, 2 hits, a couple of excellent plays over at first base.
Spezio not wasting any time, picking out a pitch he likes, right down Broadway, spanking it right back up the middle. Talk about doing it all. Straight at you, fastball, not a whole lot of movement. They don't move, they get hit. Spezio, self-taught guitar player, musician, plays in a garage band named Sand Frog. I was afraid to ask where they came up with the name.
0-1 to Benji Molina. He's got that little stripe down right under the lip with a little Anaheim red color to it.
Yeah, you got that right.
It's a good look.
Not sure what they call that. Soul patch. Fleet.
Spezio going. Jam shot roller to short. And Guzman will throw on the first for the second out of the inning. Time to take a look at our RadioShack.com trivia question. A good one here tonight. Who is the only pitcher in Major League history to have his first 2 career wins come in the playoffs?
I know that answer. I'm getting good at this stuff, I'll tell you what.
You're on a roll.
Yeah.
Well, the little things the Anaheim Angels have done under Mike Scioscia. They start Spezio there, stay out of a double play. They have a runner in scoring position with 2 men out, and Kennedy the batter, already leading 4-0. Breaking ball fouled off.
Take advantage of any opportunity that they can to move runners up. You don't put Spezio on the move in that play, it ends up being a double play ball.
Kennedy bounced into a fielder's choice his first time up when a runner was cut down to the plate. Back in that 3-run Anaheim second inning against Rick Reed. There's no surprise that Anaheim has been able to get through the division series and march on to the league championship series. 1-1 in the air, right field. Should end the inning. Kadire waits, and it does. 1 hit, 1 left. Middle of the 4th. 4-0 Angels. At 4, the top half of the 5th inning. 4-0 Anaheim in front. We invite you to join us on Friday night, Game 3 of the series, as we shift the scene to Edison International Field in Anaheim. Boy, did they have spectacular crowds last Friday and the clinching game last Saturday afternoon with the Yankees in town.
For a lot of people who haven't been out to that stadium for a number of years, you're in for a big surprise. Clean the place up. Beautiful. It used to be called the Big A, and they had a storm come through there when I was playing with the Red Sox at one point. The A fell down. Then it was just called the Big.
David Ortiz leading things off, the cleanup hitter here in the 4th. Will be followed by Torrey Hunter and then Doug Menkiewicz. Field, a base hit by Ortiz to start things here in the Minnesota 4th. Well, the Twins were able to get a couple of hits off Ramon Ortiz in that 3rd inning.
Good piece of hitting right there, and Ron Gardenhire has told us a couple times that he thinks that Ortiz is going to be the key to his lineup. He's got to swing the bat, and I love that sign. I don't love the fact that they don't have a whole lot of confidence that they might have to cross that out and put a number over here and then cross it, put another number. That's not really good. You know, you got to have some confidence in that number you're throwing up there.
Good live fastball in the inside corner. Strike 1 to Torrey Hunter. Hunter flied out to right his first time up. 1 of 4 in the series. In the dirt, blocked nicely there by Molina. on the ground. Eckstein to second. Throw to first by Kennedy, a double play. The 18th grounded into this season for Torrey Hunter. Guy who runs well, but if you hit the ball hard right at somebody, you're getting doubled up.
Well, we showed you the same situation in last night's ball game with a guy on first, and David Eckstein went the other way. That's what Torrey Hunter needed to be thinking about there to avoid this exact situation. A nice, easy double play ball. Huge hole on the right side of the infield. And instead of first and third and nobody out, you've got nobody on and 2 outs. You've got to play small ball to get back in this ball game.
Now Minkiewicz, who grounded out to first in the second inning, ball 1. 4 runs, 6 hits for Anaheim, no runs, 4 hits for Minnesota. One and one. Just under the knees of Minkiewicz, who made quite a name for himself as part of the United States Olympic team managed by Tommy Lasorda, that won the gold medal in Sydney, Australia 2 years ago. Into center field, a base hit. Let's answer our RadioShack.com trivia question tonight. Who is the only pitcher in Major League history to have the first 2 career wins come in the postseason? And you knew this already, Steve Lyons.
Frankie Rodriguez, baby. 20-year-old kid who dazzled them in New York. Watch this. This is the old Little League saying, chuck and duck. That's what Ortiz got. This is why some people don't even want to be a pitcher.
One on, 2 men out, and now Michael Kadire. First pitch swinging into left center field, and Erstad will run it down, and that will end the inning. 2 hits, 1 man left, and a 4-0 Anaheim. The League Championship Series on Fox is brought to you by Ramon Ortiz, shutting out Anaheim through the front 4. Rick Reed and the Twins trail 4-0, top of the order. David Eckstein takes high, ball 1. Eckstein, 1 of 2, knocked in a run with a single to right field in the second inning. Eckstein not afraid to take one for the team. Last 2 years, he's been hit 48 times with pitches. 48.
27 times this year to lead the league.
And if you go back over his professional career, 4 years in the minors, 2 leagues, and then the 2 years in the big leagues, he has been hit 132 times. 2-1 pitch. Popped up to right. Kadire's got it. Bud Black kind enough to wear a microphone. Let's listen in on his chat with Ramon Ortiz at the end of the last inning.
Hey, how about catching that ball? That hit you there? You need some ice? No, Fuerte.
Yeah, check out the pitch right there. You know, Ortiz is only 170 pounds. That's why if you turn him sideways, you can't see him. That's why the ball missed him. A lot of pitchers in between innings, they'll go change their T-shirt because they sweat so much. He's going to go change his underwear, I think, after that one.
Fly ball into short right field, and Jock Jones will watch as Torrey Hunter gloves it for the second out of the inning. Good solid numbers for Ramon Ortiz.
Now, you got to like the way he's going about his business today. We talked about it a little bit earlier. He wants to pitch today. Gets the ball and ready to go. He's taking his jacket off already. He wants to go back out there and pitch some more.
Johan Santana beginning to crank it up in the Minnesota bullpen. And that is a good Minnesota bullpen. Talked a great deal about Anaheim last night because they had to get into that bullpen after 5 innings. The Angels have the second best overall bullpen ERA in the major leagues to Atlanta. This Minnesota bullpen, they can bring some arms and some pitching your way late in ball games as well.
Stingy. A couple guys down there, including Santana, did an outstanding job for this team in a starting role as well.
Live ball into left field, and Rick Reed starting to have things come together. He's only allowed 1 hit over the last 3 innings, but his team trails Ortiz 4-0. The League Championship Series on Fox is brought to you by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. By Viagra. Step up to the plate and ask your doctor if a free sample of Viagra is right for you. And by Subway. Fresh-made sandwiches on fresh baked bread. Subway. Eat fresh. The Twins step to the plate. Last of the 5th inning, getting shut out by Ramon Ortiz on 5 base hits. Pierzynski takes high, ball 1. A.J. struck out swinging his first time up. Ortiz has allowed the 5 hits, all singles. He's walked 1, struck out 2. 2-0. Rick Reed allowed a home run to Darren Erstad in the opening inning. 3 runs, 2 unearned in that 3-run second inning. 3-0. Rivas to follow, then the top of the order thereafter. 3-1. Ortiz was long gone by this point in the game, his first postseason start. Last Friday night in Anaheim against the Yankees. Gave up 6 runs. Floater into center field, base hit. Well, despite the fact that Ortiz had a poor outing against the Yankees, his pitching coach, Bud Black, wasn't worried about him coming in here tonight.
I expect him to bounce back. I expect him to do what he did during the regular season. You know, I expect that out of Ramon all the time. You know, we have high expectations of him. He's a guy that has, you know, plus stuff across the board. He's a competitor. He battles. We expect that tonight, and I think we're going to see it.
And so far we have. Leadoff man aboard. And now Rivas. Takes high. Rivas singled his first time up.
What a tremendous job that Buddy Black has done with this Angels staff. Granted, there's some young, talented players there. In the 3 years Black's been around, he's lowered the team ERA every season. And it won't be long before they start getting a lot of invitations for him to take a managing job.
Crowd trying to will their Twins to get back in it. Leadoff man aboard here in the bottom of the 5th.
Talked about it last night, trying to get into this ball game. Nice little hole to hit the ball in over here. Just a lot of area for a base hit over there. Rivas, not the kind of guy that's going to jump the yard on you, so go first to third.
Took a big swing there to even account at 2-2.
Maybe you heard me say that he's not going to jump the yard, and he gave it a shot.
base. 3-2 count with nobody out. Will Ron Gardenhire start the runner here?
Last thing you need in this situation is to strike him out, throw him out, that's for sure.
Runner not going. And on the ground could be a double play ball. The second big one turned tonight by Anaheim as Spezio picks it out of the dirt. The leadoff man was aboard in the 4th inning. Double play from Hunter. Leadoff man aboard in the 5th. Double play by Rivas.
Ortiz getting exactly what he wants. Rivas pulling the ball over to Eckstein, just waiting for him to hit it to him. Nice turn at second, and Spezio once again making it look easy over at first. Think he's happy? The twin killing, that's why.
Ball 1 to Jock Jones. Take a look at our Chevy Trucks in-game box score. Not much for Minnesota. A grand total of 6 base hits, all of them singles. But those twin killings you referred to took him out of potentially some big innings. A roller down to first. Spezio gets there. Inning over.
And you gave me no love on the twin killing either, did you? You just went right over your head.
I'm not that bright to figure it all out. The League Championship Series on Fox is brought to you by Budweiser, delivering beer at its best with the crisp, clean, and refreshing taste known only to the king of beer. And a 5, by and large, it's been a quiet crowd here at the Metrodome. Bud Black's pupil, Ramon Ortiz, shutting down the Twins on 6 base hits, 4-0 as the Angels bat in the 6th.
Angels jumping on Reed early has taken this crowd out of the game. And when they tried to get back into it, Rivas took him out of the game with a double play ball.
Garrett Anderson, first pitch swinging. Rivas from short right. What a play to get Anderson.
Well, they got 2 guys that won Gold Gloves last year. They say they have about 3 or 4 more other guys that will win one sooner or later. Rivas is one of them. Beautiful play. Going away from the play. Tough to get anything on that throw. Garrett Anderson can get down the line, too. That's pretty.
Rivas, a shortstop by trade. They moved him a couple of years ago over to second base because Christian Guzman had pretty much convinced the Twins that he was going to be at that position for many, many years to come. So you know Rivas has enough arm. That was a lot of arm.
Mitkevich won the Gold Glove last year. So did Torrey Hunter. They're thinking Rivas, Guzman, Koski all have a shot at it. Jock Jones. Best defense in the game maybe right now.
Taking high to Troy Glaus.
One more time.
Lost 1 of 2, singled and scored back in the second inning, and he takes a strike. Rick Reed, a late bloomer, grew up in Huntington, West Virginia, attended Marshall University. Not many teams interested in him. He was pitching semi-pro ball right out of college as Glaus waved through it. 2-2. He wound up impressing the Pittsburgh Pirates at a tryout camp at West Virginia State College back in '86. They drafted him in the 26th round, gave him $500 and told him to lose 25 pounds. He showed up a month and a half later. He had lost 30 pounds and was their minor league pitcher of the year 2 years later. Well, the Pirates really never stayed with him, let him go. So too did Kansas City and Texas. Then in '94, at the end of the year, he signed on with the Reds. And during spring training of '95, he was a replacement player. He says he made that decision because he was told by Reds general manager Jim Bowden that if he didn't play in the games, he might get released. 3-2 pitch. Hit well down the right field line. Kadire near the wall, not going to get it. And that ball ricochets and foul ground, and this is going to be a triple for Troy Glock. Ross only had one triple during the regular season.
And you know what? Not because he didn't hustle. Boy, he's hustling all the way out of the box here. It's the only way you're going to get a triple off a ball on the right field wall like that. A lot of guys stop at second base because doubles look a lot better on your resume than triples do. Watch him turn it up a notch right here. Great turn at second base, easily on into third. Little garbage bag action for you there.
And now the Minnesota infield draws in with a runner at third and one out. Ball one down and in. To finish that thought on Reed, another thing that convinced him to cross over the picket line, his mother is diabetic, and his parents had a combined income of $500 a month. He took the $25,000 he got from the Reds and paid for all his mother's medical bills taken outside. It's always easy to say, oh, you know, this guy did that and he was this and he was that. But every now and again, probably good advice to take a step back and try to walk in another man's shoes. Your mother can't pay her bills. She's suffering from diabetes. What are you going to do? You're going to help her.
Take the best job you can find.
Swing and a miss. 2 balls and a strike. It was very easy for many of the major league players, those in the union, to heavily criticize those who decided to come and play baseball when given a chance. A lot of those guys were making millions of dollars a year.
And a lot of the replacement players were lied to about the situation.
2-1 to Fulmer. Drilled into deep right center field. This has a chance to get out of here. And it does. 2-run home run to right center field by Brad Fulmer. And it is 6-0 Anaheim.
Talking to Fulmer before the game, we mentioned it in one of his previous at-bats about how Reed likes to throw that inside sinker to lefties, but if he doesn't get it in there, it's an easy pitch to hit. Fulmer went out there and hooked it into the right center field gap and got enough of it. They're going to try to turn that thing over, trying to run it on the outside part of the plate, and it didn't get out there.
First home run in the postseason for Brad Fulmer. And the first man there to high-five him, you got it, Ramon Ortiz.
How about the old low five coming around third base from Ron Renicky?
The night is over for Reed. Johan Santana will come on from the bullpen. The Anaheim Angels flexing their muscles in game 2. For Rick Reed, allows 8 hits, 6 runs, 4 earned in 5 1/3 innings. And now on to pitching, impressive young left-hander, 23 years old from Venezuela, Johan Santana.
When a control pitcher does not have his control, those are the kind of numbers that an Anaheim lineup can throw up on you in a heartbeat. You turn Spezio around to hit right-handed, where he hit a paltry 368 against lefties this year.
This Santana, they have big things in mind for this left-hander in years to come. Began the year in AAA, brought him to the major league, started 14 games, appeared out of the bullpen 13 times in an ERA under 3. This guy averaged nearly 12 strikeouts per 9 innings. Good breaking ball there. 1-2. Big game tonight for Spezio. He's done it in the field. He's done it at the plate. Thought about it, lays off. 2-2. An RBI double scored in the 3-run second inning. Got a single into center field in the 4th. Popped up short right field. And Kanayer's got it 2 away.
Talk about the day that Scott Spezio has had. There's the Blue double. Then a blistering single up the middle, and then watch some defense. Picking it at first. At the end of a double play, saving the throw at first. There's only a couple places on the field where you talk about a guy, hey, how's that guy over at first? The biggest compliment you can say is he can pick it.
Two down, bases empty. And now Benji Molina over 2 is popped to right and grounded out to short. 1-1. One ball, 2 strikes. Well, what did you decide? What is the most memorable moment in baseball history? Watch Game 4 of the World Series on Fox to find out. The most memorable moments are presented by MasterCard. Don't miss it. 1-2 on Molina. Ball gets away from Pierzynski. And Molina is going to reach first base safely after striking out. More than likely ruled a wild pitch. And while we have a moment, take a Budweiser game break and send it to Jeannie Zelasco in Los Angeles.
From a wild pitch to a wild thing. October magic or October mischief? Kenny Lofton has 3 hits on the night. He's pretty sure Mike Crudell just threw at him. It emptied the dugout. It emptied the bullpen. Caused the managers, Dusty Baker and Tony La Russa, get a little bit tangled up. The good news is cooler heads prevailed. Round 2, a.k.a. Game 2, tomorrow night on Fox.
I don't know about you, but just seeing that replay real quick, Stephen, we're not there, but I mean, that ball didn't look like it was that close to Lofton. Did it to you? I mean, he didn't even hit the deck.
No, it didn't look that close. Kenny dives every once in a while. That ball's a little bit up, not that far in. Guys get a little excited this time of the year, I guess. Last thing you want to do is get tossed out of a playoff game on a play like that.
Check swing and a miss by Adam Kennedy. Anaheim leading 6-0. 1 in the first, 3 in the second. A 2-run home run by Fulmer to chase Rick Reed here in the 6th. Man, this guy is nasty, Santana. We'll have Game 2 of the National League Championship Series from Busch Stadium coming your way tomorrow night. We invite you to join Joe Buck, Tim McCarver and company, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. This series will have a day off. And then we'll get back at it on Friday night in Anaheim. Down to Minkiewicz, down to a knee, inning over. 2 runs, 2 hits. Fulmer plays long ball in the 6th. 6-0 Anaheim. Minnesota coming to bat, bottom half of the 6th inning. Still a ways to go in this one. And Minnesota, 42 come from behind wins this season. 3 of those 42 against Anaheim in this very building. In fact, they were down to Anaheim by 6 runs back on July the 15th. They trailed 7-1 in the 5th inning and wound up winning the game 10-8 on a 3-run home run by Guzman in the 8th inning.
Speak of the devil.
We have seen some great comebacks by a number of teams in both leagues during the division series. Anaheim club kept coming back time after time against the Yankees. Likewise for the Twins against the A's. 2-1 on Guzman, who begins things here in the 6th. He'll be followed by Koski and Ortiz. Three and 1. The Twins have had the leadoff man aboard in each of the last 3 innings. That ball driven into right center field, and it will go to the wall. Guzman on his way to second base, and he'll stop right there with a leadoff double. First extra base hit of the game for the Twins tonight.
Ortiz will challenge you when you're a guy like that. Occasionally, you're going to leave one out over. Guzman jumped all over that one. Boy, I like that angle so much because it makes me feel like I'm hitting again. And when I see it on a play like that, it makes me feel really good, like I'm standing on second base, too.
Now Koskiew's walk, been robbed of a hit on a diving play made by Spezio. Strike one.
That is nasty right there. And every time this crowd starts to get back into the game, Ortiz takes them right back out of it.
Koski, a 26th round draft choice out of Manitoba, Canada back in '94. And he has become very much a part of the very fabric of this Minnesota Twins team.
In a lot of different ways, too, especially in the clubhouse. Likes to be kind of a team clown, but he's the one guy that everybody jokes about. He's the guy that they pick on.
And there's a base hit into right field. They're going to wave around Guzman. Palmeiro will come to the plate. The Twins are on the board.
We will continue to talk about how aggressive both of these two teams are. A lot of times when you're down 6-0 and you got a guy on second base with nobody out, you might hesitate to try to score him on a play like this. Third base coach Al Newman, no hesitation. Watch him on the left part of your screen there as he says, you keep going. Guzman with a good secondary lead. Don't even think about stopping.
6-1 game. And the meat of this order coming up now. Ortiz takes high, ball one.
Here's Newman right there in your picture. There was no question in his mind that he was sending Guzman all the way.
And for those of you just joining us, Tim Salmon had to leave the game with a tight hamstring. That's why Palmeiro's in right. Grounded foul up the first base line.
Foul a ball off your foot and you're that big a guy like Ortiz is, does it hurt more?
Legitimate question. Well, you know it's a bigger foot.
Oh, right off the top of the right foot. Ortiz might want to go right back in there.
1-1, he does. And it's taken low and in.
We want to take another look at that ball off the foot because it didn't hurt as much, didn't hurt enough the first time, I guess. Wow.
Good hitter's count for a good hitter in David Ortiz. 2-1. Low, 3 balls and a strike. Better hitter's count now. But you do need base running. He's your cleanup hitter. You would assume he has a green light, 3-1, but Ramon Ortiz struggling with his control the last couple of innings.
This is where Ramon Ortiz needs to be wild within the strike zone and not out of it.
That ball pulled down the line, foul, not by much.
This one's going to come right at you. Bullet down the line, just hooking enough to where if he was a cricket player, it would have been a good play.
The Twins have finally broken through here in the 6th inning. They're down 5, but nobody out. Strike 3 call. And David Ortiz disagrees with home plate umpire Mike Everett.
Roy didn't like that when he had been going inside, inside, inside. Then he goes away. Molina framing that ball as good as he could. Molina might have stole that for him. Loss likes it.
Now Torrey Hunter. Hunter is flying out to right and bounced into a double play in the 4th inning. 1 of 5 in the series. Koski over at first, 1 out. Ball 1 up and in. Brendan Donnelly continuing to throw for Mike Scioscia down in the Anaheim bullpen.
For my money, in the 2 games of this series, we've seen Torrey Hunter be a little over-aggressive. Needs to start thinking about hitting the ball right over Adam Kennedy's head.
In the hole, it's short. Off the glove of Eckstein. And making the turn and coming to third is Koski. Hunter will make the turn and go to second.
Once again, the elements of this ballpark. Eckstein diving for this ball, knocks it down. If he's playing on regular dirt, that ball doesn't kick away nearly as far. Gets a pretty good piece of it. That ball would roll 5-6 feet away from him if we're playing in Anaheim. And neither hitter or base runner moves up the extra base. Newman, third base coach saying, come on, everybody move up another one.
Now Mientkiewicz, runners at second and third. First pitch swinging, fouls it away. Mientkiewicz 1 of 2 in the game, single to center field in the 4th inning. He has 4 runs batted in during the postseason.
This is exactly the at-bat that Mientkiewicz was talking about before the game. I don't care about my first at-bat. I need to see what the guy's going to throw me. I'm going to come up there later with guys on. I need to know what I'm going to get.
Off the outside edge. 1-1 to Doug Mientkiewicz. A double started the inning by Guzman. He scored in a single by Koski. Then a 1-out double by Hunter, has him at second and third. And a base hit into center field. Koski scores. Hunter right behind him. It's a 3-run game.
Mientkiewicz coming up huge after learning what he was going to get from Ortiz.
Hunter to win a trip.
Some of the Twins hitters doing a good job of going right back up the middle at Ortiz. Mientkiewicz driving in 2 runs in that one, and for a team with only 3 runs in the game, their third base coach is going to need to ice his arm. Look at Al Newman waving everybody in.
Ramon Ortiz taken out of the game. He'll give way to Brendan Donnelly. We saw him last night win an inning and 2/3 of perfect baseball, 2 strikeouts. He had a fabulous regular season. Kadire, the batter, down a strike. Baseball, a game overloaded with statistics. With relievers, you hear all about saves and you look at ERA. For a manager, you look at two stats from a setup guy. Stranded runners that you inherit when you come in a game. Donnelly, the best in the American League. Stranded 88% of it. Swung on and popped up. That ball will drift over near the stand and out of play. And what goes hand in hand with that for a reliever? Did you retire the first batter you faced? Number one in the American League again for Brendan Donnelly. So he's coming in with guys on, and the first batter he gets out, and guys don't score most of the time.
And all that said of a guy who's in his 11th professional baseball season, first in the big leagues. Look out. I like that. That's standing a guy up after you think he might be leaning out over the plate. That's not too far up around his noggin. That's a pretty good stand-up pitch. Donnelly's going to probably go down and away with a slider right after that. There's a purpose for the reason he threw that pitch there.
1-2. Ooh. Tried a breaking ball in the inside corner and just missed.
Well, I don't know if he's got a whole lot of argument if that was called strike three.
Foul away again. Kadire, 1 of 2, had an infield hit in the second inning, flied out to center in the fourth.
It's so much easier when you sit up here and watch the game being played rather than when you're hitting up there. Everybody knows the old adage of up and in and low and away. Donnelly got away with a slider right there that he left out over when he was trying to go away with it.
Setting up away again and got him away. There's that first batter retired again for Donnelly. Right now, a Budweiser game break. Here's Jeannie Velasco.
Dom, no actual fist fight on the field, but we've certainly got a slugfest in St. Louis. Albert Pujols, MVP candidate, 2-run home run, trying to get his Cardinals back in this thing. How would the Giants respond? After a Barry Bonds walk, Benito Santiago, 2-run home run of his own on 2 outs. 9-3 Giants, bottom 6.
Welcome back to the Metrodome in Minneapolis, where about 15 minutes ago it was 6-0 Anaheim. That lead has been sliced in half. 3 runs here in the 6th. And now Pierzynski. Down a strike. Venkevich with a 2-run single is over at first with 2 away in the inning. Told you this Minnesota team, 42 come from behind wins. 3 of them came against Anaheim in this building this season. Little number caught by the second baseman Kennedy will end the inning. But the game is on. 6-3 lead back after these messages from your local Fox station. 6 innings, 6 runs, 8 hits, no errors, 3 men left on base for Anaheim. Minnesota 3 runs, 10 hits, 1 error, and the Twins have left 5. Johan Santana to face the top of the order. Santana on in relief of Rick Reed. And excellent work by Brendan Donnelly out of that Anaheim bullpen for a second straight game. Two 2-0 on X time.
2 objectives right here for Santana to shut down Anaheim's offense after your team went out there and scored you a bunch of runs. Give you a chance to come back in and score more. For Anaheim, get back on the board and say, we're not letting you back in this game.
Darren Erstad to follow Eckstein. And then Orlando Palmeiro, who took over for the injured Tim Salmon. For those of you that have been with us the entire way, you already know Salmon left with a tight hamstring. For those that just joined us, now you know. Francisco Rodriguez, 20-year-old Venezuelan, cranking it up in the bullpen. He got 2 wins in the division series against the Yankees.
20 years old.
And if you haven't seen him, don't turn the channel. Strike 3 called Eckstein.
That's exactly what I was going to say. There's certain guys in ball games that you don't go make yourself a sandwich when they're coming into play. Rodriguez is one of them. Santana, nasty little backdoor cutter to Eckstein, and Eckstein thought it missed. Eckstein's all over the plate. He figures, hey, if there's anything away from me and I can't reach it, it can't be a strike.
Strike 1 to Darren Erstad. We talked about Johan Santana and how good he was during the regular season. You're talking about a guy that threw in excess of 100 innings and allowed only 84 hits. Struck out 16 in a game in the minor leagues before they brought him up to the big leagues, where he averaged nearly 12 strikeouts per 9 innings. Darren Erstad, 1 of 3, got the scoring started in this game with a home run in the opening inning. Strike 2.
This was it, and he jumped all over this pitch, and it was huge for Anaheim, because you were talking about a team that totally got shut down the game before. And in the second batter of the game, Erstad puts a crooked number on the scoreboard.
1-2. Breaking ball fouled back out of play. A Metrodome record crowd here tonight. 55,990.
But right now, quiet.
Two on Erstad. Right back to the mound. 2 away. Pinch hitter being sent up to bat for Orlando Palmeiro will be Alex Ochoa. They picked him up at the trade deadline. It was a very quiet deal. You probably didn't read about it until about the 8th or 9th page of your local sports section. It has always been a good, solid player. Good hitter, good defender, great arm. Game 3 comes your way Friday night. Right here on Fox. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Eric Milton will get the ball for Minnesota. Jared Washburn for Anaheim.
Washburn, the ace of that staff for Anaheim, and Milton with a tremendous start his last outing against the A's.
Minnesota with a bullpen busy just in case Santana runs into trouble. There's a strike. 1-1 on Ochoa. And the veteran Mike Jackson getting loose. Grounded foul. Two on Ochoa. In the dirt, full count. Top half of the 7th inning. 2 down, nobody on. And a 3-2 coming to Alex Ochoa. Pulled foul. Santana trying to get his team right back to the plate. As you mentioned, Steve, his team got him 3 runs in the bottom of the 6th. And he'd like to finish off the side in order and get him up there in the 7th.
Shut down the team that's beaten you and give your guys an opportunity, if you can smell a rally starting on your side of it, a little momentum shift.
Good at bat here by Ochoa, who will remain in the game to play right field, taking over for Palmeiro.
Well, Palmeiro did an excellent job earlier in this season when there were injuries in the outfield. Did a great job of filling in. Some big hits for this ball club. Ochoa, as you mentioned, excellent outfielder and a great influence on the younger Latin players in any organization.
Swing and a miss. Santana does his thing. And the Angels have a 6-3 lead with Minnesota coming up in the 7th. The League Championship Series on Fox is brought to you by Nissan and your Nissan dealer. And by I Spy in theaters everywhere beginning November 1st. Welcome you back to Minneapolis and the Metrodome. Tom Brenneman, Steve Lyons, our entire Fox crew on hand for Game 2 of this American League Championship Series. Anaheim gets out to the 6-0 lead, but we've seen Minnesota come back before, and they get 3 runs to slice the lead in half.
Especially in this ballpark, and as we mentioned earlier in the game, 3 times against this ball club.
And now on to pitch, the 20-year-old Francisco Rodriguez. Hard throwing young right-hander.
2-0. His only 2 wins in the history of his big league career are both in the playoffs. Kid's 20 years old and he was already the answer to our trivia question. You've never been the answer to the trivia question.
Alex Ochoa spanning. The third outfielder now used by the Anaheim Angels out there in right. Salmon left with an injury. Palmeiro took over for a couple of innings. And now Ochoa. Rodriguez pitched a grand total of 5 games for the Anaheim Angels this year. 5. Check swing by Rivas. Did he go around? Yes, he did. Strike 3. How impressive is Francisco Rodriguez? Look no further than his pitching coach, Bud Black.
This guy has a special arm. He's got great makeup. He's an attacker. This guy goes after people. He's got a great confidence in his ability. And with all that, he's got a presence on the mound of one that is calm for a guy who's only 20 years old. So it's very impressive.
Rodriguez, a late September call-up, made a big splash at the big league level over the final 3 weeks to earn a spot on the postseason roster. You see his numbers in the minor leagues this year at Arkansas and then AAA Salt Lake. Jock Jones fouled it off his foot and he's hurt.
Jones fouling it right. Oh, that's even higher up off the ankle. Then Ortiz got it off the top of his foot. Those hurt. Watch where that hits almost in the creep, right on the inside part of the ankle. Those are hard to walk off right now, even harder to walk off tomorrow morning when you hop out of bed and you forgot that you did it. And then you try to walk into the kitchen for some breakfast, you can barely get there.
Common, the trainer for Minnesota, out to talk things over and look things over.
Watch the fluidity of the motion from Rodriguez. The big leg kick, the great extension with the leg toward home plate, and then the arm angle. This time coming straight at you. Big leg kick, drop, drive, and let her rip. I love that. Little Nolan Ryan-esque there at the finish.
Fastball at 93, high and away to Jones, who stays in there. 1 ball and 1 strike. Jock is lined to right, struck out, and grounded to first. Swung and missed at the breaking ball.
Rodriguez has an electric fastball with tremendous movement and what Mike Scioscia calls a power slur.
Popped up left field, easy for Garrett Anderson. 2 away right now. A Budweiser game break. Let's go to Jeannie Zelasco.
And can you believe it? Another big blast in St. Louis. This one by Miguel Cairo makes history. In for Scott Rowland. He has 8 straight postseason hits dating back to last postseason. The home run, though, makes it 9-5 Cardinals.
Still a long way to go in that one as well. Only the bottom half of the 6th inning. Game 2 of that series comes your way tomorrow night on Fox. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Now Guzman, 2 of 3 in the game. Takes high ball 1. By winning 2 games in the division series, Rodriguez became just the 2nd pitcher ever to win 2 postseason games before his 21st birthday. The other, Fernando Valenzuela. When Fernando Mania was storming across Southern California, south into his native land of Mexico. Two and one. Two and two. Let's take a look at our Nissan game summary. Angels scoring 4 times in the first 2 innings, opened up a 6-0 lead after a 2-run home run by Brad Fulmer in the 6th. Minnesota got 3 back to chase Ortiz in the bottom of the 6th. But now it's Rodriguez after Brendan Donnelly gave him great work behind Ortiz. Donnelly faced 2 batters, retired both.
Both of these teams have the ability to go to their pen with a ton of confidence.
Two. Strike 3 called on the outside corner to end the inning. 3 up, 3 down, 2 strikeouts by Rodriguez. We go to the 8th. 6-3 Anaheim.
Garrick's farewell.
After a perfect 7th out of the bullpen by Francisco Rodriguez, we move to the 8th. Anaheim a 6-3 lead. And now on to pitch, J.C. Romero. A solid year out of the bullpen. A bouncer foul. 0-1 to Garrett Anderson. Romero, a longtime starter, turned reliever. And he's turned into a mighty good reliever.
What a great year he had for this ball club. When you talk about a stadium that has the potential to give up a lot of runs. I used to call this place the Homer Dome, but it really isn't. It's not like the ball flies out of this yard, but you can create some offense here. We've already seen in 2 games how that can happen. This guy did a tremendous job here.
Sharp breaking ball there. Romero, where art thou? But our guys are wheeling and dealing downstairs in the truck tonight.
That's where art thou, or whatever the answer would be. Flunk Shakespeare.
I find that hard to believe.
No, you don't.
1-2 on Garrett Anderson. He'll be followed in the inning by Troy Gloss and Brad Fulmer. Anaheim trying to even this series at a game apiece and then head back to Edison International Field on Friday night for Game 3 with the series tied at 1-1. 2-2 to Anderson.
Romero's got a fastball that moves all over the place. He tries to sink it down and in the lefties. A nasty slider, tight slider, another one that he opens up a little bit more. We've seen that pitch already to Anderson. And then a pretty good changeup.
Ground ball, right side. Rivas in short right field. Throws out Anderson. Garrett hitless in the series. 0 for 8 to start this league championship series. The time to watch Major League Baseball is right now. We're down to the final four. The end drawing near. The quest to win the World Series is on. Don't miss the postseason right here on Fox. Giants leading the Cardinals. That game now in the 7th inning at 9-5. Here it's Anaheim 6-3. We're in the 8th. Ball 1 to Troy Gloss. LaTroy Hawkins throwing in the Minnesota bullpen. There is activity in the Anaheim bullpen. But Steve, you were talking about an in-between innings as they get Lackey up, who is the Game 4 scheduled starter, perhaps just to get a little work in.
I think he is just throwing on the side. Normally, the starter for 2 days later, 3 days later in this case, would throw during the day, during batting practice, but there was a potential chance that they might need him in this game if something went bad. Now that it's to the point where they would not use him, he gets his work in.
The only way that can come to bite you later on is if somehow, some way, Minnesota ties this game and then you play well into extra innings.
Still have other guys down there in that pen that you can use. I think that man right there is going to pretty much stick with his game plan. It would be everybody but Lackey.
2-1. This down and in. 3 balls and a strike to Gloss. 2 of 3 with a pair of runs scored for Troy tonight. Singled and scored in the 2nd. Tripled with 1 out in the 6th inning and scored on the home run by Fulmer. Troy Percival hoping to get the ball for a save chance in the 9th. He has never, the key word being never, allowed an earned run in his career to the Minnesota Twins. And there's ball 4 to Gloss. I mean, that's almost too hard to believe that Gloss, or rather that Percival, has been around as long as he's been around and never allowed an earned run against the Minnesota Twins.
33 games. Bunches of saves. Ridiculous ERA. There's a bunch of goose eggs up there.
You did see, however, 2 blown saves in there. A couple of times Minnesota's come up with unearned runs against Percival as Sean Wooten will bat for the first time in this series. Well, what a job he did against the New York Yankees in that division series. Got a couple of starts, and in the series clinching Game 4, he had 3 hits, scored 3 runs, knocked in 2. Hawkins will come on to face him. We'll be right back. Right-handed batting Sean Wooten, announced as the pinch hitter for Brad Fulmer, brings on the right-hander LaTroy Hawkins from the Minnesota bullpen. Solid numbers, 65 games, an ERA barely over 2.
This guy has absolutely turned it around. Faltered as the closer. Everyday Eddie's got that job now, and as a setup guy, Hawkins all of a sudden has much more confidence in his fastball, much more confidence as a pitcher.
Wooten bats for the first time in this American League Championship Series, 1 on, 1 out. Fastball, strike 1 at 95.
After he gets ahead in the count, Hawkins wants to live up in this area of the strike zone. Sometimes not even in the strike zone. As you look at Wooten when he'll stand back in there, that's exactly what he did to Miguel Tejada in the 8th inning of Game 5 when he struck him out with high gas and nothing but. We talked to Ron Gardenhire about that earlier today. He said his son's playing junior college baseball down south, and he said he called me and said, that was a bad move. Should never have done that. What are you thinking about? He said, hey, it worked out, didn't it?
His son Toby playing junior college baseball, you mentioned, down in Arkansas. Swinging and a miss by Wooten. That was a funny bit, too, because the conversation then drifted into, well, as he dropping strategy on his own manager down there, and Ron's like, I keep telling him, shut up, just play the game.
Yeah, you can just hear him saying, well, my dad says, this is the way you're supposed to do it.
One-two to Wooten. Fouled away.
Climb the ladder. Got him to swing at one belt high. See if he'll swing at one a little bit higher than that. See if he'll swing at one a little bit higher than that.
Wooten had 6 hits in 9 at-bats during the division series against the Yankees. Started 2 games as a DH. 1-2. Threw a fastball right by him. 96 from LaTroy Hawkins, 2 away in the inning. October's magical matchups continue tomorrow in St. Louis. Game 2 of the National League Championship Series. It'll be Jason Schmidt on the mound against Woody Williams. Woody Williams has not pitched in a game for nearly 3 weeks. The road to the World Series continues tomorrow, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on Fox. Two down for Spezio, ball 1 high. Anaheim leads 6-3. We're in the 8th inning.
One of the things that Rick Anderson, the pitching coach, did with Hawkins was move his feet back squared up to home plate. He used to have this foot way over there, and he would have to throw across his body. He squared him up so that he's headed straight towards home plate.
Anderson's done an outstanding job with his staff.
Yes, he has. Very underrated. There where you see his feet are right there, so he can drop and drive straight towards home plate. He was getting himself all tied up and had to throw across his body. This squares himself up better, clears his front shoulder a little bit better, added a little bit of velocity and a lot more confidence to that fastball.
Spezio the other way. Jock Jones is there, inning over. Part of the order coming up from Minnesota. Koski, Ortiz, and Hunter down 3. The League Championship Series on Fox is brought to you by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road, and by Sprint. Introducing PCS Vision, clearly a whole new way to look at wireless. We go to the bottom of the 8th at the Metrodome.
And here they come.
Francisco Rodriguez delivers strike 1 to Corey Koski. The first 2 games of this series, neither team's bullpen has allowed a single hit. Not one. Now, granted, last night,
field line in this stadium that ends up being an inside the park home run if it's fair. As a left fielder, you have to go try to catch it, but if it gets by you, it bounces around down in the corner, may bounce back towards center field, and Kennedy could run for days. Boy, a ball that hits all the way down in here and then runs up around in this corner and goes that way, you get the left fielder running a mile to try to find it.
Strike 3 called as Jackson comes in through the side door. 2 away in the inning.
Boy, the Crafty veteran's been around 16 years, throwing back door with a little slider, just nipped the outside edge. There's the dot that they talk about you trying to pick up if you're a hitter. Ball spins in a counterclockwise motion. The seam spinning around the ball is supposed to make a little dot that you can look at if you're really good.
Minnesota bullpen has been terrific here tonight. Rick Reed allowed all 6 runs. 4 earned in his 5 1/3 innings. It's Santana, Romero, Hawkins, and now Jackson have not allowed a hit until now. Just out of the reach of Rivas, a 2-out single by Eckstein, his 2nd hit of the night.
Rivas gets caught on this ball, and he has to take 2 steps the other way to try to catch it because the ball's spinning away from him. He broke to his right, but the ball's spinning to his left, so he had to turn back around to try to make the play. Tough route for him. If it had broke to his left on the ball and turned and ran, probably would have made that play. You have to take into account that the ball's being hit by a right-handed hitter spinning the other way. It's going to slice away from you.
Now Erstad on the outside corner of strike. Darren 1 of 4. The 1 a home run in the opening inning. Back up through the middle into right center field, a base hit. Making a turn, advancing on to third is Eckstein on a single by Erstad. So Anaheim runners on the corners, 2 away here in the 9th inning against Jackson. And Alex Ochoa coming up.
Right fielder, Alex Ochoa.
The coordinating producer of Major League Baseball on Fox is Michael Weissman. The producer of tonight's game, Jeff Gowen. And our director, Jim Lynch. Our replay producer, Carol Langley McDermott. The associate director, Larry Lancaster. Our broadcast associate, Kevin Dresser. And thanks to our technical producer, Craig Marlowe. Senior producer of Fox Sports, Bill Brown. And the executive producers at Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill. Two on, 2 out. Ochoa digging in. Check, swing and a miss. Talked about Mike Jackson, veteran of 16 years. This guy has had a great career.
In his heyday as a closer for a number of teams, Seattle, San Francisco, Cincinnati, boy, there was none better, maybe outside of Dave Stewart, than that menacing stare that you used to get when he had a nasty fastball to go along with his breaking stuff. Obviously a little bit later in his career, doesn't quite have the fastball that he used to have. But boy, he'd give you that stare down, and you knew he had the gas. He had a biting slider. You were afraid.
0-2. Tried that slider, and Ochoa fouls it away. I mean, you're talking about a guy closing in on 1,000 career games and an ERA barely over 3.
Spin of the slider. There's the look. He used to curl that bill of his cap down around his face even more.
What a pickup there by Pierzynski to keep the runner at third. Wow, what a play.
We talked about Molina not getting over earlier in yesterday's ball game. This is a ball thrown so far to the left, there's no way you can get your body in front of it. That's picking and grinning by Pierzynski. That is a tremendous play. Can't teach that. You can't get your body in front of that ball. It was 5 or 6 feet to his right. made that play like he was backhanding the ball like a third baseman.
Swing and a miss. That'll end the inning. So we go to the bottom of the ninth at the Dome. Pierzynski, Rivas, Jones due up against Percival. Minnesota down 3. Bottom of the ninth inning. Anaheim 3 outs away from then heading back home with this series even at a game apiece. The locals are thinking a different outcome.
Crowd isn't going to send him home without a fight, that's for sure.
Ball 1 away on A.J. Pierzynski. 1 of 3 in the game.
Minkiewicz sits when they need a rally.
2-0.
In Anaheim, they have the rally monkey. In Minnesota, Minkiewicz sits on his bump in the middle of a bunch of chew spit.
2-0 on Pierzynski, and he'll take a strike. Twice this year, Minnesota beat Anaheim in its final at-bat. Granted, that was a while ago in May, and then again in July. Two and two. Well, should Percival end things here in the ninth inning? For those of you watching along the Fox Network, will give you bonus coverage and send you to the conclusion of San Francisco at St. Louis, that game in the bottom of the 8th inning. And for those of you watching on Fox Sports Net, we'll return to regular programming. Ground ball. Eckstein gobbles it up behind the bag. 1 away. These two teams will jump on a plane after the ball game tonight, fly west to Anaheim, work out tomorrow, and Game 3 comes your way on Friday right here on Fox. Steve, you and I looking forward to that one. Eric Milton against Jarrett Washburn.
Great pitching matchup in a city that has gotten behind this Angel Ball Club.
Pinch hitter for, pardon me, Steve, it'll be Dustin Moore pinch hitting for Rivas.
Talk a lot about the noise in this stadium here at the Homer Dome, but I know you did a game there in Anaheim. They're in the divisionals. That was wild.
Oh, that was the day they clinched and beat the Yankees in Game 4. Man, was it wild. Strike 1 to Moore.
Come on, he's on the base.
And David now after the out, going with a different look at the rally cap.
Well, when it doesn't work, you got to adjust. One and one to Dustin Moore. There's a rally cap. Moore a big cut on a pitch up, fouled it straight back, 1-2. Percival earned saves in games 2 and 3 of the division series, becoming the first Angel pitcher to get 2 saves in the postseason. Fastball up and away, 2-2.
Now Percival's made it very easy on Benji Molina behind the plate. Benji's just had to put one finger down for every pitch. Good old country fastball. Here it comes.
.97 gone swinging is Moore, and Minnesota down to its final out.
Right by you.
6 strikeouts now by the Anaheim bullpen here tonight after fanning 4 over 3 hitless innings last night. Now Jock Jones, 2 down, nobody on. Fastball, strike 1. Boy, this is Percival just saying, here it is, do what you can.
Not a lot you can do against what Percival's got. Hardy.
Although it took a little off something there, it looked like he may have flipped up some kind of slider.
Just turned it over a little bit, sank it away, and not going to do it this time.
97 misses down low. Now Doug turning that cap sideways a little bit. Open for the 2-out rally. Minnesota won game 1, 2-1. Outstanding pitching on both sides. And Anaheim wins game 2 to even this series at 1-1. Steve, we're ready already for Friday night.
And way beyond. This is going to be a great one right to the end.
6-3, Anaheim wins it. Game 3 will come your way on Friday. Eric Milton on the mound for Minnesota. And starting it for Anaheim, Jared Washburn. For more information on tonight's game and the latest information on Major League Baseball, go to foxsports.com. For Steve Lyons and our entire crew, I'm Tom Brenneman saying so long from Minneapolis. In game 1, it was Mays against Napier and the Anaheim bullpen. The Twins came out 2-1 winners. Tonight, Anaheim scored 4 times in the first 2 innings. Built a 6-0 lead after 5.5. Minnesota tried to get back in it, scoring 3 in the 6th inning. But then Rodriguez and Percival shut down the Minnesota Twins in a 6-3 win. Jeannie Zalasko and Kevin Kennedy coming up in the Fox Network.